Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for Friday, February 7th. If you join me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We will be going over my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. In the morning, I'll have an injury report for all 12 teams in play for the main slate. 6 games in total for both slates. Technically 7 games on the NBA in total, but the last game of the night is not on either DraftKings or FanDuel, so we don't have to worry about that. There are no back-to-backs, so that will be kind of nice. Obviously, a lot of trades did take place over the last couple of days. We'll be tracking a lot of that news, kind of these starting lineups, these rotations, and everything else in the coming days for NBA DFS purposes. So definitely on the lookout for that. Maybe play just a little bit lighter, but there should be some good values out there that we can take advantage of at the same time as well. And then I will be leaving my updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock or as those changes do become available, as well as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening as well down in the comment section. So definitely make sure that you're checking up down there, especially as we do get closer to lock. But without further ado, we'll get started with the DraftKings side. We're going to have a lot of values out there today. We're going to start off at the point guard position with Bub Carrington of the Washington Wizards. $3,300, did start their most recent game, played a ton of minutes in there. I do expect similar in this game overall. $3,300, dirt cheap, looking for 16, 17 out of them to pay off at 5 times value. Obviously, when you were talking about somebody this cheap, you need at least 20 points out of them to really pay off. But definitely do think he can do that. Currently, I'm projected for 22. A little bit tougher matchup versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, but a ton of upside to be had there if he goes out, if he's in that starting lineup and he gets the minutes once again. Obviously, if he's not in that starting lineup, he will be a guy that we do pivot off of in that updated core. Then we move down to shooting guard with Keon Johnson playing really well as of late, $5,000. Looking for 25 out of him to pay off at 5 times value. And for some reason, his price tag went down on DraftKings. I really don't understand it, as he's been playing really well as of late. A little bit tougher matchup versus Miami Heat, but do definitely like him once again. Currently, I'm projected for 29 DraftKings points. It looks like one of the better value plays, at least early on in the day. Then we move down to small forward with Jacoby Walter of the Toronto Raptors. He's been starting the last couple of games for them. Do expect that continues once again. However, if he's not in that starting lineup, then he will be a guy that we ultimately pivot off of once again. But $4,000, we're only looking for 20 out of him to pay off at 5 times value. Currently, I have him projected for 26. Even in this game versus Oklahoma City Thunder, could potentially be a blowout. Still probably going to be out there more times than not since he is a young player that they do kind of want to see what he's got at this point in time. Then we move down to power forward with Bobby Portis, and this will be if Giannis is out once again or if Brook Lopez ultimately ends up getting rolled out. Bobby Portis coming off a really strong performance, a really attractive matchup for the Atlanta Hawks. Unfortunately, Giannis got rolled out after lock on Wednesday, so that did hurt a lot of people, including myself, on one of my FanDuel lineups, but definitely do like Bobby Portis. If Giannis is out, if Brook Lopez is out, one of those two guys. And with that being said, in that case, in that scenario, would have him currently projected for 36 fantasy points. He's averaging just under 29.5 so far on the season. Definitely do like that matchup versus the Atlanta Hawks once again, and the upside that he could potentially have overall. Then last but not least, I have the center position here for the Toronto Raptors. So whoever ends up getting the start, whether it's Jonathan Mogbo, whether it's Chris Boucher, if Orlando Robinson gets the start, who at one point in time was actually being ruined as a potential cut to make roster space, but I think they figured that out now. I think ultimately it's going to be Mogbo, but he's $3,100, only looking for 16 out of him to pay off at 5 times value. Obviously, when we're talking about guys this cheap, you need at least 20 out of him, but do currently I'm projected for 24. Even if this game is a blowout versus Oklahoma City Thunder, he's still a young player, and he could get potential blowout run at the end of the day as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $29,100 remaining, $9,700 remaining per player. So a lot of room, a lot of potential to pay up overall. So definitely going to be a very easy slate to go stars and scrubs. A lot of value out there for today overall. Definitely feel free to mix and match your value plays. Definitely feel free to mix and match your star plays at the same time as well. A lot of different ways that we can build out lineups for this slate overall. Going to make for a pretty interesting and pretty fun slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. But at the point guard position on the FanDuel side, we're going to start off with Jamal Shaheed of the Toronto Raptors. $4,100, looking for 20-21 out of him. He did start their most recent game. Actually played pretty well in that game as well. And he's a young player for them. Like I mentioned on the DraftKings side, even if Oklahoma City blows these guys out, they're still going to want to see a lot of these young players in action. And they do have a couple pieces that may or may not even be playing because of all the trades they made at the end of the day too as well. One of the guys that could potentially have taken minutes away from him was Davion Mitchell, and he's not going to be playing. There is a chance that she does not start in this game because Quickly did miss the most recent game. If Quickly starts and she doesn't, then obviously want to pivot off of him to someone else, and I will have that in my updated core. But if he's in that starting lineup, if he's playing, if he's getting decent size minutes, still do like him quite a bit. Do currently have him projected for about 23, 24. Then we move down to shooting guard with his teammate Jacoby Walters, $4,100 as well. Do expect him to definitely be in that starting lineup once again since he's started the last 2 games. But $4,100, looking for 2021 out of him. Currently, I'm projected for 26 on the FanDuel side. Like I said, might not be the best matchup versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Is some potential blowout rest there, but these young guys for the Toronto Raptors probably going to play in that blowout run, so definitely do like him either way. And not too much else to say here. Just looks like a really good value play as we do start off the day. Then we move down to small forward with Keon Johnson, $5,800. So he's not quite the value that he is over on DraftKings, but at $5,800, looking for 29 out of him. Didn't love a lot of small forward position overall today, but Keon Johnson's a guy that does stand out. He's been playing really well as of late. Currently, I'm projected for 29.30, a little bit slower pace, a little bit less attractive matchup versus the Miami Heat, but there is some traction that Ben Simmons might ultimately end up getting cut at the same time as well, which would just solidify his minutes a little bit more. So definitely do like him and the upside that he's shown as of late. And then we move down to Bobby Portis. Once again, we want to make sure that Giannis or Brook Lopez is out in this matchup. Giannis unfortunately missed on Wednesday. He got ruled out after lock, which was very unfortunate for those of us who played him. He was not in my core picks, but still got a decent amount of exposure to him on the FanDuel side. Fortunately, on DraftKings, I was able to play a lot of Nikola Jokic to kind of mitigate that, so it was something that worked out over there. But unfortunately, FanDuel was not the case. But if Brook Lopez or Giannis is out, Bobby Portis looks like a great play. Currently, I'm projected for 36. Really good matchup for the Atlanta Hawks, and definitely does offer some upside for even more at the end of the day as well. And then last but not least, we're going down to that center position once again with Jonathan Magbo. This could be any of the Toronto Raptors starting centers, whether it's him, Chris Boucher, or Orlando Robinson. Like I mentioned in DraftKings, Orlando Robinson was rumored to be cut if they needed a roster spot with all the moves that Toronto did make, but he's on the team at least for now. Magbo is the guy that I do assume will get the start. I do like him as kind of the young player, so even in blowout potential, he would probably be out there on the court more times than not just to kind of see what he's got. And definitely do like him a little bit overall. But with that being said, currently I'm projected for 24 fantasy points, and just looks like a pretty steady, safe play overall. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here on the FanDuel side, you have $35,300 remaining, just over $8,800 remaining per player. So a ton of money remaining on the FanDuel side as well. Definitely feel free to go with that stars and scrubs approach. Maybe a little bit more balanced on the FanDuel side as opposed to DraftKings because of the pricing structure and everything else like that. But still a lot of good opportunities here. Obviously, with all the trades over the last couple of days, going to be a lot of good values out there. We're going to see what the starting lineups look like. We're going to see who gets ruled in, who gets ruled out. A lot of moving pieces on the slate overall, but it's going to make for a really interesting and really fun slate overall. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel for Friday, February 7th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Once again, in the morning, I'll be listing the injury report for all 12 teams in play for the main slate. I will have injury updates throughout the day, other type of news, especially in terms of the guys coming over in trades, whether they're playing, whether they're not. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts on this slate, but should make for a pretty fun one overall. And then, as always, I'll have my updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. That will be listed as a pinned comment. If there's any other additional changes after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to that pinned comment as well. And then last but not least, I will be listing as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening as well. So definitely be sure you're checking up, especially as we do get closer to lock, so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible, which is going to be really important considering all the moving pieces once again. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have NBA DFS in terms of the core pick videos Tuesday through Friday. I will also be dropping some NFL draft content that will probably be coming out during the NBA All-Star break, just since I'll have a little bit more time that week. I might do an NBA trade breakdown video or live stream tomorrow. Just kind of depends on how my schedule looks for tomorrow evening. If I do have that time available, I will be making an announcement, posting that on the YouTube community tab, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So definitely on the lookout for that. And then last but not least, if you're interested in prop betting, if you're interested in sports betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks if you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites. When you sign up, make your initial deposit, you'll get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS for Friday, February 7th.